easily my best favorite intro music. Anyway, love that. Okay, so the CFL season is here. This Thursday, the Ottawa Red Blacks take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders to kick off the season that will lead all the way up to late November in Winnipeg, Manitoba for the 100 and somethingth Grey Cup. It's going to be a very interesting year along the way. I think that just like before we get a bit more in depth on these teams, there is a lot of parity in the Canadian Football League this season. There is one team that I'm pretty confident won't be as good as the rest, and then everyone else you can kind of make a case for. So I do think that there is a bit of a concern from some of these teams, and from a wagering standpoint, it's going to be a little bit difficult to kind of see, at least early in the season, who sits where, which we kind of had a season ago as well. On that note, I will be back at 3 Down Nation this year with the best bets piece. The first one should be coming out at some point tomorrow would be my guess. Some point on Wednesday. But throughout the season, the best bets are going to be here. On 3 Down. So again, I will be talking about those as the year goes on. So let's dive in with the CFL East Division preview. We start with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Their total sits at 8.5. Ticats gone on a bit of a roll toward the end of the season. I think that Levi Mitchell having another year in this system is really going to take off. I thought he really started clicking as the season went on. So you have that at a full year pace. You add Kenny Lawler to a really talented wide receiver room, and this is going to be a very difficult team to stop. The issue is going to be if they can stop anybody. That has been a problem in the past. They bring in Brett Munson. The defense played significantly better in the back part of last season. Munson is going to be tasked with trying to get the most out of that this year now. So we'll see how that goes. But I like the Ticats. I like over 8.5 in this spot, and a couple props to watch with this team. Kind of explained them already. Also, spoiler alert for the best bets coming up on 3 Down. But Levi Mitchell at plus 1,600 for MVP. I think that's come down now to plus 1,400. But that and Levi Mitchell also over 4,575 yards passing for the season. I think that he has a great year. And I think the only thing that kept him from being MOP before was being on a team that didn't make the playoffs, and I don't think that's going to be a hindrance for him this season. Out in Ottawa, the total is at 10. Ottawa felt like a team on the rise last year. Odds makers obviously agree. This would be a one-game jump for a team that went 7-1 at home last year. As I was saying last year, there was quite a bit of noise in that number. So I do think that the more likely outcome for this team is a slight step back record-wise. Even if it looks better on the field, it might be a bit of a step back record-wise. I'm interested to see what Stanback is like as the running back for Ottawa, and I do think that they're going to give Saskatchewan a few problems here in week 1 of the CFL season out in Regina, but that's more based on some of the issues that the Riders are having up the middle. But I think that this is going to be a good football team. I just don't know record-wise. Like 7-1 at home, that's, they really benefited from catching teams at good times, I thought, last season for Ottawa. Montreal, their total is at 10.5. They had some big changes this offseason. Cody Fajardo is now off in Edmonton, which means Davis Alexander is the man at the helm, and I still think that this is probably the most complete team in the Canadian Football League. The offense got the headlines last year, but that defense was the reason that they had the year that they had, and I'm expecting that to continue in 2025. And then you look at Alexander, who I thought was really good as the backup quarterback when Fajardo got hurt. You have Philpott to work with. You're assuming that he is healthy. Mack, you are hoping that he is healthy after only getting into 3 games last year. That is probably the best duo of receivers that you have in the Canadian Football League. So I think those are 2 guys who are really going to rise up and give this Montreal team that extra boost. So I do think that Montreal kind of reminds everyone and reestablishes themselves as the top team in the Canadian Football League. And then the last one, the defending champion Toronto Argos, currently sitting at 11 for the win total. They are the defending champions. They hoist the trophy despite the injury to Chad Kelly. It was an amazing season to end the year. But Kelly probably isn't ready to start this season. He's only started throwing this week. And so odds are he is not going to play for the Argos. this is a team also that was bled dry in free agency. And so with like Montreal, I don't think they're taking a step back. I think Hamilton's going to be better. I think Ottawa, like we said, is going to be better on the field anyway. I think it is going to be difficult for Toronto to get to that total. They can go 10-8 and I still win this. I just think with all that they lost in free agency, with some uncertainty at the quarterback position to start the year, I think it is going to be difficult for Toronto to get to that 11-12 win mark. So I have the Argos going under 11 for their total.